you're a beginner and you're looking to getting into sewing your first pair of pants, and this is a perfect video for you. So these are a pair of wrap pants. I found this video right here on Pinterest a while ago, and I thought, like, that looks so easy and fun. Like, it would be so easy to wear, so easy to make. And I looked into what the logistics of making it would be like, and here we are today.
Hi and welcome back. If this is your first time seeing
channel, if this is your first time seeing me, my name is Flowy and you're welcome. On this channel I post sewing tutorials, DIYs, thrift flips and all of that. So if you're interested particularly in learning to sew, especially if you're a beginner and this whole thing is kind of seeming like a whole big overwhelming journey, you're in the right place, and you definitely want to subscribe and check out my older videos, because I know I have a lot of videos that you will definitely enjoy. Anyway, for today's video we're making the easiest pair of pants ever, and I'm not even exaggerating. I know when I was a beginner, okay, here's our fabric, by the way. It's like this really beautiful, like, silky fabric. I think it's more satin because I got it in the satin section of the fabric store. But anyway, I remember when I was starting out, one of the things that I was most scared to try out was making pants. And that's because you definitely, if you're not going to make pants out of like really stretchy fabric, then you definitely need like buttons, zippers, like some sort of closure. And at that point, that seemed like a really big, scary, overwhelming aspect of it for me to tackle. And so I just avoided making pants altogether for like a long time after I had started sewing, actually. But these pair of pants, I would say they are very beginner friendly because they don't have anything like that. No buttons, no zippers, no zipper fly in the front or anything. This is just the perfect pair of pants, I promise you. So get your fabric ready, get your matching thread ready, and let's head straight into this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you have any questions at the end of the video, of course I will be in the comment section answering questions as soon as possible. So without further ado, let's head straight into the video. First off, starting with the flat sketches I got from Pinterest. This, by the way, is something that I really love to do whenever I want to make something, especially if I haven't tried it before. I like to look it up on Pinterest, and most times I would easily find what I like to call flat sketches. So flat sketches really help you to see the shapes that you need to create when you are cutting these pieces, when you're cutting the pieces you need for whatever garment that it is. So this gives us a really good idea into what the shape is supposed to look like. Now here's my own little rough idea of what exactly we need. So first off, we need two straps, right? So these straps, I'm going to put them along the waistline, and they're going to be longer so that I can tie them on the sides. As you saw, like, these pants have ties. Now you can add in your straps just like at the tail end here, so at this end and at this end of each of your pieces, but I want mine to actually sit on the waistline, like all the way around, and then extend so that I can tie them. So this piece that you can see right here, I'm going to make two of these because one makes one leg. So this is one leg of the pants, so we're going to need two because we're doing two legs. So we're going to need two of these. Now I think the main question that I have here is, like, how wide am I going to make this piece of fabric, right? Like, how wide is this? Because this dip, you can see right here, this is the crotch area, which is going to sit right in the middle of this whole piece right here, right? And typically how wide you make this area is what really determines how because some people have concerns when they make wrap pants. They feel like, oh, I don't want to make wrap pants, I don't want to wear wrap pants because it might, like, when I move or when the wind blows, it might show like my legs and everything. So the trick is, if you do not want your legs showing at all, you really need to make sure that this fabric right here is wide enough, right? It's wide enough that it wraps around, and even when you move and the fabric is moving around, it doesn't expose your legs. Of course, for the length, it's going to be the full length of your pants, and then I would like to add 1.5 inches just because I'm going to be hemming the bottom, so that's going to take some, like, at least 1 inch off of that, you know. So you always want to account for any inches lost when you're hemming and joining your fabric and all of that. Now for the width of this, when I'm cutting this piece, I'm not going to cut it flat like this, so I'm going to fold it over in half. So this dotted line right here is where the fold is going to be. So that means when I'm cutting, I'm not going to cut this. You would see me cut this right here. right? But then because it's folded over, by the time I open it up, then you would actually see this shape. So what we're working with is this half of this whole thing. So what I'm going to use here is my hip measurement divided by 2, and then I'm going to add half of that. Let me take it again. So if, for example, my hip measurements, just for ease of explanation, my hip measurement, if it's 40, so that divided by 2 is going to be 20. Please don't panic because of the math. Like, this is very basic stuff. So so that would give me 20. Now half of 20 is 10, so I'm going to add 10 to this, and that is going to give me 30. So that means, and I'm using inches, so that means I'm going to use 30 inches as the width here. And of course, like, remember that this is going to be hemmed over, and like that is going to take maybe an inch off of that. And another thing is, because I don't want my pants to like really show my legs as I move, so I really want it to overlap a lot when I wrap it up. So this is a trial and error thing right now. So if I find out that this is too wide, that I went too wide, I can always cut down. So that's the thing I always advise. You can go a little bit too big, and then when you fit it, or when when you're done sewing and you check it out, if it's too big, you can always reduce it. Most of the time, if you go too small, that's like your fabric is gone. You're going to either have to manage it or like try to work around it or whatever. But if it's too big, it can be reduced. In this case, if I find out it's too wide, I can always trim it back, right? So for me, what I'm going to be using is 30 inches wide, and then for the length, it's going to be my pants length plus an inch and a half. And then at this point right here, I'm going to measure my crotch depth, right? I'm going to measure my crotch depth. I'm going to mark that, and then I'm going to come in here, and then I'm going to come in here by about, I think 4 to 5 inches should be fine. So the distance between this point and this point. What really matters is the crotch depth. Make sure you don't go too low or too high. Of course, if it's too high, then it can be deepened, but if it's too low, then that's a really costly mistake. So I'm going to go ahead right now and try to cut this out. And for the ropes, okay, so I think the first pieces I would cut before doing all of this is actually going to be these 2 really long ropes right here. And in terms of length, I think I'm going to try and go to make each of them definitely more than 60 inches, because if I'm making this area right here, if I'm making this whole place to be 30 inches and it's folded over, that means when it's opened up, it's going to be 60 inches, roughly a little under 60. And if this rope is supposed to sit on top of that and still extend a bit more, then I definitely need more than 60 inches. So I'm definitely going to make sure this is wider than what I have here, so that it extends and I have something to use as a tie on the sides of my pants. And then in terms of thickness, I don't want them to be too wide, they're just ties. So I think I'm going to go for about maybe 2 inches thick. I think that should be fine, just going off of what I would prefer. So let's go ahead and cut on the fabric. I felt like it would be better to explain on paper, just because my fabric is a bit more dramatic, and I felt like the camera might not pick up my chalk markings properly, so this should be clearer. So let's go ahead and transfer all of this onto the fabric. So here's my fabric folded up. I folded it over 4 times just so the camera properly captures the whole thing, but I'm about to cut those ties that I talked about. So in terms of width, I'm using about, like, this is definitely over 80 inches, which is perfect. So that's definitely more than the 60 inches, right? So that's the width. And then in terms of thickness, like I said, I want them to be 2 inches. But of course, this is going to be folded over when I'm sewing it. So I'm going to make it 5 inches. And that's because once it's folded over, there would also be some sewing allowance. Like when I'm sewing it, it would also maybe take in half an inch. So you definitely want to account for that. So it's going to be eventually 2 inches once it's sewn and everything. But while cutting, I'm going to cut 5 inches. So I'm going to cut 2 of those, and then our ties will be ready, and then we can go into cutting those 2 big pieces that make up the legs of the pants. So these are our 2 ties for the pants, and now we're going to go ahead and cut. So like basically these pants just need 4 pieces, your 2 ties, and then the 2 really large pieces for each leg of your pants. So as I just demonstrated on the screen, I folded my fabric into 4 because I'm going to cut the 2 legs at the same time, because 2 of them, from what my understanding is, both of them are exactly the same thing. These pants have no front or back or anything, like, oh my goodness. Anyway, so this end right here, where you have like the open end of your fabric like this, that is going to be like the side. So this here with the closed end is where I'm going to mark and cut the crotch out of and everything. So first thing I'm going to do is to measure here to make sure that I have up to the 30 inches that I said I was going to use for my pants. And now that I think of it, honestly, I feel like 30 inches would be much bigger than I would like, much wider than I would like. But like I said, I would rather, oh my goodness. So I was saying that this part right here, I was thinking it was going to be 30 inches, but like this is not up to 30. This is just about 20 something that I have here, just about 22 inches, which, you know, I'm going to take the risk. And because I was seeing how the 30 inches I felt like was going to be a bit more, like a bit wider than I would need. So I'm just going to use my fabric. This is all the fabric that I have, so I'm just going to use it. This is the widest I can get, so 22 inches it is. Anyway, so what I'm going to do on this closed end, I'm going to come here and mark my crotch depth wherever that is going to fall. So I'm going to mark that, and then from this end right here, I'm going to mark, I think I'm going to mark 3 inches, and then I'm just going to go down still on 3 inches, and then just sort of like curve my, what's it called, let me show you. I'm going to mark from this point from here, which is the waist of my pants. I'm going to mark, and I'm going to go ahead and determine where the hem of my pants fall. So basically measuring my full length plus 1.5 inches for sewing allowance or hemming allowance, however you'd like to refer to it. So I'm going to get the length of my pants, and I'm going to snip all of the extra at that end as well. So now we basically have the shape of our pants already, but I'm just going to come down here, and I'm going to, so you can see there's where the crotch is. So on this end, you want to make sure that you have 4 open pieces, so like 1, 2, and then we're going to cut open this closed end right here all the way down, so that our 2 legs can be separate. Because remember, when I folded this over, it was 1 big piece of fabric, but these are 2 separate legs, so we need to detach them. So I'm just going to cut open this closed edge right here, and then we can get straight into sewing, the fun part. And sneak peek right there for the fabric for our next project. I'm so excited for that, the pink one. Now that we're done with that, when you unfold your fabric, you should have 2 pieces of this right here, this really huge piece. So that's what our leg piece is going to look like. Remember our flat sketches, so we can start to see the whole thing coming together right now, and I'm really excited for this. So you have 4 pieces, like I said, the 2 legs and then the 2 ties. Now we're getting into sewing. So as you can see, I've laid them right sides facing each other, and at the crotch right there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew, right? So I'm just going to sew and follow the crotch line, so thereby joining the 2 legs together by the crotch. And after I do that, I'm going to actually try it on myself. This is the point where you see if you have, like, if your fabric is too wide and you want to maybe trim a bit more, or if you are fine with this. So after sewing up the crotch comes the moment of truth. So I've sewn up my crotch together, and then I'm just going to put this on as I would put on a pair of wrap pants. So I'm just going to find, hold on, I'm just going to take the waistline, and this is how it overlaps, which I think is perfect because it's not too much, right? So I'm just going to, because I want to see how the pants would actually look even before adding on the waistband. And so just going to tie this and pull the other end, and oh wait, I'm wearing it back to front, but you get the point anyway, Like, this is cute. This is so cute. So basically, like, this flappy part, I think I prefer that to be in the front. But honestly, for these pants, there are almost no rules, because you can wear it like this, so in the front you don't see that flap, and you can wear it like this as well, where the flap actually is at the back, and you can see that if I'm walking around and like it's windy, right, like you almost still don't get to see my legs, right, because it really overlaps a lot. I love it so much. Okay, yeah, I'm excited. So once you've sewn up the crotch, next up you need to concern yourself now with hemming, like all the way around. So you hem that end right there, so the two sides, and then you hem the bottom of your pants. Let's just get straight into hemming so that we know we're done with the pants, and we can come then and focus on the ties, which would be the last step in this process. This is so easy and straightforward, you guys. I'm so excited that I actually got around to doing this, because I can't believe I've been procrastinating this for so long. All right, so we're all done with hemming, and then I just also wanted to add, don't forget to press your hems, because look, the hem at the bottom, I haven't pressed it yet, but look how nice and neat these ones that I've pressed look. So I pressed this one here on the side, but this on the bottom I haven't, so you can see the difference. It just looks neater, it looks nicer. So don't forget to press your hems. Anyway, up to our ties now. So we have these two sides of the waist that are separated by the crotch here. So what you want to do is to open it up, and of course when you open it up, you have this full length here that either goes around the front or around the back, right? And so we have our two ties. So one is for this side, and the other one is for that side. And all we're really going to do is to, if you've seen me do waistbands on pants before, then this won't be weird to you. But okay, we're back. So after you open up one side of the waist, and then you spread out the tie, you can see the tie is longer than the waist itself, which is definitely what we're going for. So you want to mark the middle of your tie, and then make sure that that aligns with the center of your waist right here. And after that, I'm going to take this to my ironing board, and all I'm going to do is to press in on both ends by 1/2 inch, and then I would fold it over like that. So that is what's going to create that waistband shape. So I'm going to do that for both of my ties, and then I'm going to come back and show you what we're doing next. All right, so I've gone ahead to mark the center of my tie, and then as I described, I went to also press it, and I have both of them here because I wanted them to be exactly the same. So I placed them together and pressed them together, but I'm going to separate them while sewing, of course. But just for illustration purposes, I've marked my center and I've aligned it with the center seam right here. So this is what it looks like. So this is, you can see this is one end. Now I'm going to tuck in this end right here. So just tuck it in, because as you can see, it's just a rough edge, right? So after going ahead to sew, like what you want to make sure to do is to sandwich your pants into the waistband / tie, right? So let it be inside at least by 1/2 inch, right? So you want to make sure your stitches catch both sides of the waistband and also the pants themselves, or the leg of the pants. So you place it, you can pin it right here, and then just pin all the way like this. So you start on one end, so you're going to just be sewing with a regular straight stitch close to the edge, as you can see right here, and you're just going to go follow the tie all the way to where the pants come in, and then you do that all the way to this end. And when I'm done with that, I'm just going to tuck in the rough edge, and I'm going to sew that end closed so it's nice and finished. So I'm going to do that on this side, and of course on the other side, and then I'm going to press everything so it looks neat, and we'll be done. Like, that's the last step with making these pants. Honestly, you can get this done in like 30 minutes to an hour, depending on, you know, your level of sewing. But yeah, so I'm going to get this done, and then I'll show you what my pants look like. But I am so excited for this one. Our pants are done. Oh my goodness. Okay, so simply just tie it at the front. I really love it. I love it so much. And like, look, for the most part, like my legs are like fully covered, so I really like that. Yeah, you guys, I think I've made my summer pants. I really love it, and I love the fact that there's no front and back. So if you don't want like this whole the tie and then this seam right here to fall in front, then you can do it at the back. Hold on. So I think I like it a lot better like this, like just the plain front, and then have the seam at the back with the tie and everything. Like, this is so wow. I love this so much. I also decided to try a different style, like we saw the Pinterest girl do. So this is kind of like a jumpsuit. I would imagine maybe you could do this over your swimsuit at the beach. Like, I think this is really cute. I really love these pants, and yeah. And if you want the sides to be more open for you, of course, like I said when we were measuring, you just make this like the width of your pants a lot less, and then you would have more of an opening on the sides. But if you don't want to, then you can, like I did, add a lot of allowance so that it really overlaps, like you can see my pants doing here. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was clear enough. I tried to be as clear as I could with the explanations and really break it down, but I always like to try to make sure that my videos are as beginner friendly as possible. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're able to recreate. If you ever want to, then feel free to send me pictures of your recreation on my Instagram, which is linked in the description box, and I will be so delighted to see that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.